Hello and welcome back to my ASMR channel and treatment demonstration. So for the purpose of this video today, I conducted a therapy session using quantum technology, and the technology that I use is called bioenergetics, so energetics of the biology of the body. So whenever you think bio, you think biology, you think body. And this is a tech that I think is quite futuristic and for some people a little bit far out. And sometimes it can be very scarily accurate. But I like to call it alien technology just based on the fact of how quick the tech can scan and do a full 3D scan of your body and just, give a comprehensive, detailed outlook of where your body's at in this current state, in this current moment with your current energy. And this is also a treatment that I recommend people to do monthly. And it's very, very powerful because it can be done remotely. So we can have access to anyone in the world to have access to these treatments. And again, just tying in with my theme of just trying to make things accessible to anyone. And it doesn't mean you have to be specifically located in London in the UK to come have a session with me. So that's the good news about it, because not all other technologies can actually offer that, because usually you have to be there holding something. But with the sophistication of this technology, you can either use a voice biometric scanning system, so you can literally speak into the software and it can pick up through your voice the imbalances picked up, or alternatively, because I'm a kinesthetic person, I like touch and feel, you can buy yourself the scanner that you'll see on the video in a few minutes time. That will just demonstrate how easy and quick it is that you can even do this remotely at home or with all family members, because a scanning device is not limited to one person. It can be accessible to all that have access to it. I really, really love this technology because it's just so superior in being able to pinpoint issues that maybe people don't even know how to articulate, describe, and pick up things that doctors tend to either ignore or not even have awareness about. So it's really, really good. So tying back into the theme of working on a preventative level, because if we think about our body and the energetic aspect of ourselves, we are dense matter. And then there's different layers of us also sort of going out on an outer layer, where some people might call an auritic sheet. And sometimes when things are shifting and changing into our body and coming in, we can pick that up before it actually hits the physical body. So then we can help reduce, eliminate, or ensure through prevention that something bad can't happen to you. And I'll just use a very common example like COVID. The scan can pick up any bacteria, virus, flu-like symptoms. And then we can just go, okay, let's go into preventative. Maybe we need to do some drips. We need to put you on certain nutrition, need to ensure and eliminate anyone around you, maybe so you can ensure they don't get sick as well. So it's a very, very powerful health information tool. So I really recommend it. And again, it's accessible to everyone in the world. So that's really, really the key thing that I love about it. So what's happening today? So in the video, ASMR Beauty, the wonderful, that I collabed with, conducted her session where, again, it's just so wonderful for someone to be so open and sharing all of their information publicly, because we need to really appreciate and regard how vulnerable and sensitive things can be. So, kudos to her. That can really help demonstrate. So again, if you feel like you've been experiencing an imbalance, or something I've said resonated with you, drop that in the comments. I'll happily reply, maybe give some lifestyle advice, or same thing, if you want to book in a treatment at the clinic or online, please feel free to do so, because all the links are left below. And if you're interested to watch more videos and maybe to gain some more exposure about how different people have different readings, because it is completely unique and customized, which is the theme that I'm trying to help with, is just trying to get people to work out what their signature is or what their code is. And I always use the analogy like a Rubik's Cube. You know, we should be having all the faces in one direction, but through life we just get all muddled up and mixed up, and then our pictures are just very distorted. And I'm just trying to figure out what is your encryption to decrypt your code to get you back into balance, and all your colors matching the same face, matching the same colors, right? All the same colors one way. So yeah, very, very helpful. So also, if you have any questions or you want to know something more about what I've said, please as well feel free to drop again another comment or question, or even email me. It's not an issue at all. And then yes, so because in clinic I've obviously studied a lot of modalities, I do then tap into doing other things as well. So just depending on the need of the person, then I will bring in different things. So maybe like sound healing or meditation or energy work, grounding work, or maybe homeopathy or nutrition, etc. So that can be really, really helpful. So I give you what you need when you come for the session, and not necessarily just the thing you've booked itself. And it's more, yeah, we're working with the time we have together. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Let me know. So I think what I want to do first, because you are on the system, so I just want to first take your scan.
Okay.
It's very simple, straightforward. It's 30 seconds. So
okay.
It's incredible with how I can download your information. And then I will then show you and discuss with you what everything means. Just so we don't influence your energy and your vibration.
Okay.
Right. So you can literally, just like a mouse or computer, put your hand on top.
Is it the right hand or left?
Doesn't matter.
I feel so nervous.
No, that's why I say it won't influence you. And then as you can see here, it says to start the screen. So I'm just going to push start. And then once it finishes downloading, then you can take your hand off. But literally about 30 seconds.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, this is, to me, an incredible technology, and also a very useful technology, because this can be done remotely as well. So, I call this the scanning device. So this is, for me, a kinesthetic, so you can touch it, and then remote signals can be sent through the scan. Then I'll get the information. But as well, people can do just biometric voice as well. So you can do it over the internet, and you can speak into the scanning technology, and they usually just ask you to count to 10. And then it can pick up through your voice recognition what imbalances you have in your body. So it's very interesting.
Oh, wow.
So the technology is called bioenergetics. So you'll get a lot of derivatives called bioresonance or energy healing. But it's a technology that's sourced from quantum physics, which is fantastic. So it works on the principle in terms of laws of quantum physics called the law of resonance. So things being in vibration. So you might have done different therapies like tuning forks or sound healing.
Yeah, sound healing I've definitely done.
Or anything of the sort like that. And the idea is that we operate at a certain frequency, and then we get different objects or instruments to try and resonate in that frequency. So the idea with the scan is it's going to send signals into our body. So according to research and understanding, all of our organs will operate at a different frequency. Well, not will, they do, right?
Okay.
So the scan is going to send signals in, and it wants to find things that are in harmony. And then it will say, okay, this is working, or, you know, this is not working. So it will spit out in the report saying, okay, this is out of balance. And then with the, I'm going to say with the intelligence of this technology, then it will say, even out of all of those that have spat out, we want to know what's priority. Right. So it's done in a sort of, what I enjoy, a color-coded format. So we just see that we'll get purples, oranges, yellow,
green and grey, and then purples are priority. So then I say, when we look at the scan, let's look at the purples, and if in a certain tab or breakdown of certain aspects, then we'll go, okay, if that's not having it, if that doesn't have any purples, okay, then we can nitpick and go down into oranges, or depending on how severe the scan is. So usually when people come first time, you know, there's a lot of purples, and then we try to operate with lifestyle adjustments, adding nutrition, changing diet, maybe coming for different therapies. And just as a standard practice with my main medical work that I do, I always make people do this. I make people, but it's a standard practice when people come in, we do a scan before we start anything else, just to get any key information that might help or support or things that change. Because the idea is, I explain it like the analogy, we're taking a snapshot of a river that's flowing, and what I take today will have changed in like 5 minutes from now. And we need to work with it, because we are an energy, we are a frequency, and things change. You know, bad news can happen, diet can happen, change in season, and we need to work in combination with the flow of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I love. How the technology came about was a man in America called Harry Massey who founded this technology. But his story or backstory is that he basically was so sick and ill, but wasn't yet open to alternative medicine, that he was bedridden and he couldn't even go to the doctors. So he, by nature, is a mechanical engineer. And then, however he got better, I don't know the depths of the story, but partnered up with his friend in Australia who's a quantum physicist, and then they roped in Chinese medicine, and then together they created this technology.
Right.
So his ethos and principle was like, rather than you having to go to someone, I want to make something that's user-friendly to have from the access of your own home. So then that's the idea. He created a scanning technology, which is what we're going to go through now.
Yeah.
And again, someone can buy this anywhere in the world, or you could use a biometric voice scanner just using your voice. But I, as a practitioner, am kinesthetic. I like touch, so I just prefer to use this, right? Then he said, based on this, and as one section in the scan will tell you, is what are imbalanced. So then he's created this machine. So I always joke, and I call this the mouse, and I call this the cell phone, or the telephone. But it's called the My Health device, which is a technology that basically can emit frequencies. So if, just for example, this thing, your scan spits out that, okay, your liver is imbalanced, there'll be a liver setting in here that you can put onto your body, and then it will bring it back into harmony and imbalance. There's two types of ways you can actually use the technology. So you'll have these electrodes, so you can literally put it on the body part and go, and you'll feel like static electricity really running through. And we can change the setting to be quite high or low, or, which is what I commonly use, and I'm going to call it like a Wi-Fi setting, that it's just going to emit the frequency. So what I like to do a lot is combine it with other therapies. So when I'm doing the colonics with people, there's a setting that I'll do to break down fats in the liver. Or if someone's suffering from high anxiety or stress, then I'll put on a calming setting. Or if someone needs to completely reboot their body, there's a good setting in here for 54 minutes, and you just sit here and just literally just having everything reset and rebooted. But it basically has every body part you can imagine into this. Then it can help you with exercise, post-exercise, any arthritic conditions. If you're open to spiritual practice, it can help with chakra rebalancing. Wow. It's got so many different features, and even which is interesting because I deal with a lot of international clients. It can even help reset your body clock. So if you have jet lag or whatever like that. Wow. So it's very powerful. And again, due to the philosophy of Harry Massey, one can buy this as well. The people come for practitioner.
It'd be easier to get the treatment.
And then the third thing is, so it's like getting the scan, getting the treatment, and then the third idea is the medicine. So what they call their medicine is called infoceutical. Okay. So infoceutical, it's just basically salt water, so magnesium and potassium combined together, with programmed frequency into it. So they put it in a special machine and then they'll program. So in this case, just as an example, I've got a spleen infoceutical. So then if the scan spits out, okay, you have an imbalance with your spleen, we recommend a spleen infoceutical. You literally will take about 15 drops a day. One bottle lasts for about a month. does have a longer shelf life, if you know, in case you're not that disciplined in taking it every day, it doesn't expire, because that happens with the pharmacy I have at home as well. So it can last longer. And it's very interesting because you have two, I've experienced two schools of thoughts with people here when they come, that some are absolutely open and want to do it. But I've noticed in my work that I attract a lot of people brand new to healing, and trying to sort out their life or wanting to get a kickstart in their health. So I also say to people, as we'll do projected scans, and then there's a lovely comparative feature that we can literally just do a breakdown of all the different organs and mineral exposure and vitamin imbalances, and we can see constantly if there's purples. Then I'll say after 6 months of working, like, okay, this one is still coming up. Maybe now we need to try and address it through an energetic aspect. Right. So it's quite interesting. What I say to people is it's ideally a therapy or a modality you can do once a month. Just do a scan and just do a checkup on what's happening. So again, with a lot of international clients, it's just about, okay, can I recheck my nutrition and just say, okay, because what I do is I say to people, okay, when your supplements, like I've done with you, run out, rather than just rebuying them, say, okay, is it really what you need? So it's really good. Or if you have something chronic that's come up and you're like, something feels wrong, maybe someone's traveled to a different country, and then for some reason they've picked up a bug, etc., then we can check it out. But just for you, so to watch. So the idea is that you're going to have access to the scan. The company that we're using the scan from is called NES Health. So you'll get access through NES Health onto their platform, where you'll have the exact same view as the scan. Reiterating the philosophy of what Harry Massey was trying to do, is trying to make everything user-friendly and that you can do it yourself. So you can literally, just as an example, click over a button and it'll give an explanation of what it means. You can literally click it, and then it'll give you a huge breakdown of what it means. And in some areas, it will give you some feedback on how to improve. And just for those who don't like to read, you can always highlight something and then you can just go Command Escape, and then it will speak to you as well, just for differently abled people. So I'll just show you an example, if you do like that.
Get smart. Start at the top. Invest in your brain health. DHA. The cost of
So you don't have to worry about if it's too much to read. But generally speaking, it's not that much anyway, because you're going to only be focusing on your priorities. So like I say, the priority scan here.
Oh, right, so that's the meter.
So in summary, look for purples.
Okay.
So just to go back to the scan, so there's lots of different tabs. So tab 1 is energy source. So where are you sourcing your energy from? So we're looking at the basics of your diet, your hydration, your movement, your oxygen, your circadian rhythms. So where you're getting a good night's sleep, getting enough exposure to sun. And BFA is an interesting one because it's to deal with planetary alignment. So when there's a full moon, because we're predominantly made up of water, that will help. Like if you think about how that affects the waves, it affects us the same way too. And if you're into astrology, I think you might be with some of your videos, just where the planets are placed, you might have things like Mercury retrograde, that kind of thing on. That will have negative.
That was happening last time I was here, I think.
Every time, it seems to happen every 5 seconds from what I see. But that will basically have a knock-on effect. Typically what that will affect is people's blood pressure, will affect their moods, it will affect their heart rate, so beating really fast, like, oh, I feel so anxious, I don't know why, nothing's changed. And predominantly will be affecting sleep. And then most common one is feeling ungrounded, right? So people don't really feel connected, they feel out of sorts, that kind of thing. So quite a common recommendation is obviously go outside, take your shoes off, connect with the nature, partake in activities, that is, maybe cycling outside, breathing air, maybe swimming, connecting with water, that kind of thing. So it has all different impacts, but I'll go into detail with that later, just giving you the highlights. And if you're into, like I said, Chinese medicine, so we're thinking about something called meridians, so the energy lines that run in the body. We have 14, so 6 each side, and then 1 in the center, then 1 at the back. We're talking about your common one, like your spleen, your stomach, your liver, your gallbladder, kidney, bladder, heart, small intestine, large intestine, lungs, that kind of thing. And then your conception vessel, governing vessel, so quite a lot of details. But the way I like to summarize it is like spaghetti strings. We have a spaghetti string attached from our thumb to our big toe, second finger, second toe, and then obviously on both sides. And then, like the game Connect the Dots, we have all these different points that these are attached to the spaghetti strings. So we need to see how the energy is flowing in our body. So ideally, if it was in the perfect world, everything would go flowing well. But it might not happen in that case, because sometimes you might have a blockage. So your heart meridian on this side, that's why there might be a blockage here in one of the dots.
Yeah.
And that's why when people have a heart attack or stroke, they always collapse, catching their arm, because they're literally unconsciously or consciously feeling a blockage in here.
Right.
So there's a delay that's not connecting with the heart.
So the different, is it like reflexology where the different dots represent different
It's the same.
organs?
It's the same, yeah.
Okay.
So different. Let's call it in this analogy. Different spaghetti string will have a different organ. So we'll talk about.
So there's more than one spaghetti string.
Yeah, we have 14.
Oh,
Right?
sorry, yeah.
No, that's fine.
I thought there was 14 dots. I got it completely wrong.
Let me show you an example of. So the lung meridian is running from your big finger all the way up to here. Yeah,
right.
It technically starts from here if you want to be very technical according to acupuncture, TCM. But then that's how it runs. So that's your spaghetti string for your lungs, right?
Oh, there's a purple.
Your small intestine. Right, we'll start from your small finger all the way up at the back of your neck, across to the front of your face. So we'll have them in all different places in the body, right?
Yeah.
And the idea is, like I say, if there's a blockage in something.
Yeah.
So a very good example of small intestine is when I was younger, I cut off my finger. So this finger, I cut it off. So I've always got some issues with small intestine because I've cut into my spaghetti string, right? So if you want a real-time example. So yeah, so that's what we can help. So the one tab is going to focus on how strong the flow is doing.
Right.
Or how strong the organ is working. And then we want to know how well it's flowing. So is it going like perfectly? Is it going
Yeah.
So it can tell us about like how well the resonance or the frequency of the organ is working, right? So that can give us some feedback and understanding. And then obviously with my background and knowledge, we can try suss out why is it imbalanced, what help do you need in lifestyle changes or tips or tricks or other recommendations of therapies, I would say. The next tab is focused on mind-body. So there's a huge discussion in the community about how trauma or mental health or emotional imbalances can create physical issues, or other way around, physical issues can create emotional imbalances too. So we talk about the mind-body connection, and this will then demonstrate, okay, you might have a physical issue, it could be linked to this emotion, and again through discussion and consultation we can work out what might come up.
Right.
Then we have the immune system as well, so that's quite straightforward about your health. Stars is just talking about the flags, like what's the most important that it's pulling out from the whole scan.
Right.
Energy rejuvenation tab is literally this, doing the recommendation about what would be ideal for you to have in treatment. And what I didn't mention is each setting is only 2 minutes, so it's really quick. It just shows you how powerful it is. Next tab is environmental exposure. So this is one with a lot of sub-tabs. So it's talking about what your exposure is to your home, your work, your personal care products, solvent exposures, toxic heavy metals exposures, agricultural, food, mold, and radiation. So electronic, EMF exposure, electronic magnetic frequencies.
It's quite a lot then.
Yeah. So that's why we only focus on purples, yeah? And then nutrition, we can look at all your vitamins, your minerals and balances. So the same because you've done kinesiology before.
Yeah.
Some people, might not be able to be here physically for kinesiology, or some people don't resonate, or equally vice versa with this therapy. And this is very quick. It's like, okay, boom, your vitamin C is low. It's like, okay, great. So put me on a vitamin C tablet, or I'm going to eat a whole bunch of oranges. So it's effective immediately. And like I say, very good for international clients because it's like, okay, you can be anywhere in the world and you can get support within minutes. Yeah.
What did the grey ones mean? Is that just
not important, not priority.
Okay.
Maybe another good point to make is that over the years, I've had some people who might have like autoimmune condition or something that they'll be like, oh, I'm going to booby trap the test going, I know what should be popping out. And it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just, again, to reiterate, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist or it's not there. It's just not what's important or what your body's requesting right now in this moment.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to pick up. I was saying actually to the previous client before you, because he also did the scan, my most interesting story I've had about how deep this can go, or how like recent, you know, the energy can pick up. There was a case where a woman came through the door, closed her finger on the door, and then boom, it picked up her thumb, right? So it was that instant. And in terms of length of time, as I had a woman many years ago where I think she was about 44 then, I always forget. And she's a telesales-woman, and I was like, okay, something's coming up with her auditory or audio hearing. And I said to her, like, oh, maybe people are shouting at you on the phone, or like you have the earpod in all day. And she said, well, no, actually, I was born deaf. And she said I had to have, as a child, a major surgery on my ears to obviously grant me hearing.
Gosh.
Then I thought, wow, so this is obviously picked up, you know, 44 years of history, and it just shows you how long something can remain in the body, and especially something like that, that's quite traumatic. So very interesting.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
I love it. So yeah, so we can look at nutritional fields, so we can literally break down to what is your vitamins, your minerals, your fat fields, proteins, antioxidants. In terms of your metabolism, so how you're digesting food, any absorption issues, or how your blood is oxygenating. And then again, so 2 schools of thought, because I do physical blood tests for testing allergies and tolerances, or you can work on sensitivities energetically. So it's been interesting over the years again to align, because some people will have copy paste, you know, blood tests to this will say the same issues. But then interestingly, working on people and changing their health and their gut with supplements, nutrition, lifestyle changes, sometimes their energy is in a much stronger position, that even though on the blood test they can't eat the foods, they can actually tolerate it for maybe about a day or 2. So maybe you can't eat dairy, but then on that day, when your energy is in a very good, healthy state, you can actually tolerate it more. But then the trap is what people do is like, oh, then they start to eat dairy every day,
and then
it goes back to so that's led me to believe in my work that you know, you can reverse things. You know, it's nothing is for life, even though, you know, society has said like allergies are for life, intolerances are permanent, that kind of thing. But I think you can change things as long as you have the right guidance and information. So,
so you don't like overdo it or anything. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. So this is interesting to work with, because you can say, oh, something's come up. But I would say compared to other technologies like this, it's not mainly focused on foods, it's more about the organs. So there's not every single sensitivity, but then that's where I can come in with the kinesiology or the blood test. So I've got many options, right? Because I treat all different types of people with, you know, so some people open to energy work, some are completely closed. So, you know, it doesn't... able to help all. So yeah, we've got a couple of major food groups, but then also the benefit with this technology is over time things improve, so sometimes they add more features as well. The next section, so typically if you go...
so cool.
if you go to any normal practitioner, this is an extra feature that's added, and I like to basically summarize it as a psychology section, right? So same thing when you go on to the NES Health platform, you can sign up to Choice Point, which is like a course. It's for free as well. And then this is how you can learn more about yourself. But same thing, you can click on the tab and it can give you a lot of information to learn more, and then they can just open you up. So as I will usually say to everyone that comes here, I don't normally go through this because it's quite a personal, deep thing that you need to digest and take time to, and also do the course to learn more about yourself. So that we go through a number of these tabs. But what I do focus on, which is very interesting, is going through the beliefs or affirmation belief system, things you can work on. I won't click on it yet, keep it in suspense. Emotions will be a copy paste of this because, like I said, it's an extra section. And then we look at chakras as well. So it can also see about chakras. And then this last tab will then say about imbalances you have physically, which organ it relates to, and then it will say, okay, which emotion or theme in your life. It's like, oh, you need more awareness or assimilation. So like all good things, I go to the recommendations tabs first. Right?
This is so exciting.
It's very interesting.
I love things like this.
I know. That's why I got the technology. I think it's really, really incredible and very insightful as well.
Like self-improvement as well. I like that aspect of it.
So according to the recommendation, so like I say, the first thing that it suggests, they always, like I said, according to the philosophies of Harry Massey, is to recommend 5 infoceuticals a month. Like I said, people can do either or, rather follow my guidance and work with the health for some time and seeing with repetitive scans. If the same theme comes up, then consider it.
Yeah.
Or like I say, people completely I just want to do it. I completely resonate with this kind of energy work, quantum physics, and then they do. So, and then like I say, my health is just all the suggestions according to this.
Right.
Right. So just as a highlighted theme, so I just look for what kind of themes are coming up. So we're seeing EMF exposure, so electromagnetic frequencies, so maybe makes sense. Exposed to a lot of computers, on your phones all day. So many phones here. Additional things like I'm thinking is, okay, well, do you switch off electronics at night, put them into airplane mode? Is your room electronic free? You know, especially in London, it's a very hard thing because your bedroom is virtually your house.
Yeah.
So just trying to be more mindful, but then things to offset, you can think about getting like a Himalayan salt lamp. You can think about putting more plants in. There's also some really good crystals, like a very popular crystal called Organite, which is one of the crystals, you know, how I translate how it works is basically it's hungry for negative energy and electronic energy, and it will just eat it and then it will spit out positive. So it's like constantly working, because usually with crystals you have to recharge them and go through processes, put them in the sun or in the moon, or wash them with water or salt water. But this is like, it doesn't need to, because it's just constantly being fueled by...
Oh, that sounds so useful, instead of all the upkeep.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel, because I have 1,000 crystals.
Is the salt lamp the same kind of concept where it's taking the negative?
Yes, and then converting it, the ions, yes.
Right.
And then it sends positive ions, and then that's why you'll feel that kind of... there's an energetic shift in the place where it just feels calmer, because basically it's transitioning that. But through putting on the lamp, basically you're reactivating it and the heat, so then you don't need to cleanse that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but how I do with mine is I bought these, because according to different studies, they say like when you get crystals in the shape of pyramids, there's some special, how can I word it, like with the technology of a pyramid, there's special mathematics behind it that makes it stronger with the immersion of the signals and frequencies. So I bought, it was just my own experiment, I bought 4 Organite pyramids and I put them in each corner of my bedroom, just to try and create like a encapsulated space, or like, you know,
like a wall around it.
Yeah. Does it work? I don't know. But I'd like to believe it, and maybe it's the power of thought that does, right? But, you know, I'm at this point in my life, I'll try anything and everything.
Yeah, the power of thought, if that's just as strong, it's just as good.
Yeah, so you can take tips from what I've done, if that helps.
Yeah, Organite. That sounds cool.
Not the prettiest crystal, it's like grey and
got
black.
a cool name though.
Yeah, that's about it. That looks cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and in terms of other infoceuticals recommending, in terms of physical organs, we're talking about small intestines.
Right.
So that's going to be the main place where you're digesting your food, or maybe not absorbing properly. It's very common for gut bacteria to develop. So you can get things like H. pylori. Like I say, poor absorption. It can lead to inefficiencies with blood circulation as well. So you can get low blood pressure, that kind of thing. So people can tend to have like abilities that can they faint more, or not deal well when there's heat, that kind of thing like that. So I don't
like me.
Yeah. So it could be a reason, right? Not the reason, but just again, food for thought, because that's the idea. When we start changing micro things or small things, maybe it can have knock-on effect of being, you know, because people don't go like, oh, I'm not fainting as much as I used to, because you don't recognize it until someone brings it up, right?
Yeah, it's good to be aware of like potential things. Yeah.
Next one is love. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, because sometimes it can be good. So a recent example I can say was a client came in and I was like, "Ooh, is everything okay? How's love?" She's like, "Yeah, just got engaged," or you know. It's also, I found, because again with years of experience, it's quite a deeper, subtle thinking. So it could be you feeling love towards someone, or someone's giving you love that you're feeling love, or you're in a dynamic or a group of people where you're witnessing love and you're being impacted by the frequencies of that as well.
Oh, so it means that there's lots of love.
Yeah.
I was so worried it meant a bad, like, as in, like, love was bad. I was so worried.
No, so to reiterate, it's imbalance, right?
Right.
Imbalance, yeah. So it could be too much or too
Too much
little.
or too little. Okay.
But in the case when I look at you, I don't
Probably
feel like
too
it's...
much,
Yeah. I don't get the impression there's like things going on.
Yeah.
But like I say, everything in life, it just wants to come back to balance. So again, it's not a bad thing, but you know, can have different effects. Okay, can be bringing up nerves. So this is specifically referring to nerves in your immune system. So I'm not sure, it would have to dig a bit deeper, but we can go down to maybe feeling a bit stressed or having some sense of anxiety or too much going on that your body just can't go. And when that's going on, obviously the knock-on effect most commonly is it's going to affect your immune system, and then that puts you in the position where you can get or be susceptible to getting sick, flus, infection, exposure to bacteria, that kind of thing. So that can happen, very common. Heavy metal exposure, so we'll see which ones in the previous tab, but like I said, we're just looking at the summary. So that can be affecting your moods, that can be affecting your energy levels, feeling brain fog, that kind of thing. So a lot can go on. Common is either cooking with foil, having had fillings, using spray, like aerosol cans, eating tuna, so very common with eating sushi.
And fish, I eat so much fish.
So yeah, it's unfortunate, and that's also another thing with sushi is that in Japan, sure, but like some places around here, like the quality control of how fish is monitored, defrosted and served is not at a peak. So that's where risk of getting parasites can happen. So I generally tell people to stay away from raw food. Almost the same like thinking about what you'd have to avoid when you're pregnant is sort of like, I think that's the same thing. But it's a little bit more OTT over the top, but that's fine. In terms of what it wants to treat, so when I did look at your scan in the previous tab, it only brought up 2 priority things, but this always gives a generic of 5 or 6. But yeah, sensory cortex is coming up, so just feeling an overstimulation of everything going on, maybe watching too many videos, listening to stuff too much, just in a sense your body's a bit overwhelmed with too much.
Okay.
Which can have knock-on effect to, like I said, the stress, the anxiety, maybe not sleeping properly.
Yeah.
Same like coming up with brain, so that might be similar in the sense as well, or maybe sometimes I've had where people might have knocked their head or fallen or something like that, and the brain's like, ow, I need some TLC. Toes is coming up, so I don't know if there's anything with toes, so could be either walking in high heels, maybe you've done some exercise like running or jumping a lot, maybe banged your toe. There's a lot of potentials that I've heard over the years as well, or just keeping mindful of that. Sometimes people get cramps in their toes. So just being mindful of that. Sometimes I say something and you're like, I have no idea, and then like later it will come up. And people always message me like, I know what it was. Same with shoulder and arm, so potential posture issues.
That's
even me
always comes
like
up in like everything.
Posture issues, maybe carrying something on the arm, like creating all your tripods, exactly. And then this is part of that, like I was saying earlier, 54-minute setting, which is basically your body just asking for a reboot. So instead of doing the whole reset cycle, it's just saying it wants to support, so just to basically supercharge your cells and then just to restore your body's matrix. So that's great. Then what I do is I scroll down. So sometimes if people want, this can unlock a personalized meditation for you. So it's nice. So if you want, I can do that. And I'll send you something. And what I do is I look at patterns. I would say generally speaking, I always see about 5. So when there's less than 5, I always go, okay, so you're not too bad then, right?
Okay.
So sorry if people have 6 or 7, but you know, we're just working with what we're working with here. But your 3 main themes or patterns would be your nervous system. And that would be why it's summarized that is from all these different ones. So we're seeing like small intestine, large intestine, heavy metal exposure. Hearing, audio processing, so like I said, maybe a lot of over the sensory cortex, over stimulus, or maybe listening to things too much, I'm not sure, or having earpods in too long. And then the last one is asthma support. So it doesn't literally mean asthma, but I interpret like breathing, how you're breathing. And quite commonly, because people have a lot of inflammation or swelling in the intestinal walls, or the small intestine, like it swells up, so it creates an impact on the diaphragm, and then that will squash the lungs. So instead of being at full capacity, it might be at 80 or 70, and then already people don't breathe properly to start with, so maybe you're getting 30, 40. And then that shallow breathing, of course, has a knock-on effect to your health, because you need to breathe fully to remove bad toxins in the body, to get blood circulating.
Yeah.
And then linked with breath work, you know, it's about like we're holding so much trauma in our body, so to release that as well. So
yeah, that one really resonates recently. Like even on the way here, when I was waiting for the tube, I was like, Mel, stop and breathe properly, because I kept like not catching my breath properly.
Oh, bless you. Okay, yeah.
So it's really bad today. So.
Oh no, bless you. Okay. But just for insight, it's always good to breathe through your nose, because your nose has all the nose hairs that you can basically filter through rather than breathe. And nose can regulate more than mouth, because nose you can. But breathing in through your mouth, you can't really regulate as much. You don't know if you're doing like 40%, 50%, or you're gulping air. And then in terms of colonic, if you gulp air and swallow air, you can create lots of gas and imbalance. So
something to work on.
The same with sleep. So you'll see people get those like, what do they call them, butterfly strips that sort of tape up their mouth, or they tape their mouth up to force them to breathe through their nose. But I don't know, I think that's a bit traumatic. I always think, what if your nose is blocked? Would you like kill yourself in your sleep?
Yeah, no, that sounds scary. I feel like I'm fine when I'm sleeping, so it must be something to do with like stress, because
of course,
when I'm relaxed, I think I breathe fine, but it's just during the day, like often commuting, I think stresses me out, so I'm like yeah.
But also you're quite a sensitive individual, so being on tubes or underground, surrounded in a number of people's energy, is very impactful. So a lot of people with sensitive energies tend to not do tubes. They might go on like buses or walk more or cycle. And not that you do that, but it's just creating that awareness.
Too lazy, but
I love the tube. But then, like in a case of like when you step into one of the carriages, then think, okay, where is more empty? Obviously, if you go during peak hour, different. But it's just some like idea. Then you go in and go, okay, well, down there in the corner is a bit emptier, so that at least you get like 5 centimeters of energy, so that can help.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now from the recommendation is just sort of dive deeper and see if there's anything.
Okay.
Like I say, if I'm going to focus on purples, if there's not, then we can move on. But same for people who are very, I would say, analytical, and you want to know more, then you can read that yourself, because everything's user-friendly, right? Or if you ask me, right? So where are you getting your energy from? So like I said, there are no purples.
Oh, perfect.
Right.
Feels like passing a test.
It is, right? You're like, yeah, I've done the homework. Especially when people come for the second scan, they're like, I promise you've been so much better.
That would be fun.
Well, you can. That's good. But it's like most things, it's an accountability, right? You want to come here, and I always seem to be the health police. People like, I swear, or like, I'm really sorry, I ate a cake just now.
Yeah, sometimes like having someone to hold you accountable is like what you need to improve. So,
but not judgmental, because I'm always like, don't worry, get there next time. So like I say, there's no purples, but again, just for you, just diet, movement, so exercise, diet, and just a bit of like I say, planetary shifts that would be affecting your sleeping patterns, as well as, like I said, your blood pressure. So so maybe just feeling a bit with the heat distribution. So usually people with your type of constitution, not always warm, more towards cold, I would say. So basically there's some functions in the body that are not operating effectively to then create that flow of heat, right? So we need to figure out why and find ways to manage it, right? In terms of the strength of your energy, so that's really good. Again, not a purple, so you're doing pretty well so far. Yeah, that's basically, it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, great.
So like I say, again, there's nothing here, so there's not any chronic issues or severe issues. But again, if we want to nitpick, okay, we're looking at lungs, but you've already now told me about the breathing.
Right, yeah.
And the immune system as well.
Also sounds right.
Yeah, so, quite straightforward, nothing too complicated.
Yeah.
how the energy is flowing. So this in this case has come up, so small intestines, and again going through your recommendations tab, I've obviously seen that's been repeated as to why things are imbalanced. So then I'd say, okay, you know, think about what can we do to clean small intestine. So about changing your diet. Like commonly I'd say doing the blood test to figure out your allergies and intolerances. But yeah, just for interest, so small intestine's coming up, large intestine, you know, not completely purple, but it's on the, you know, top end scale. So I'd say, okay, you need to think about doing some gut protocols, right?
Gut protocols, yeah,
Right,
sounds
so-
about right.
So again, so if colonics off the charts, maybe looking at, we'd probably do about a 16-week nutrition protocol, and then you'd have to take a lot of different tablets to really clean and get things moving, and they can take it from there. But so then we move on to the mind body, but again, this is looking really good, very micro. Just for you, because you'll be doing this at home, this one you can click on it, and then we want to be looking for fours or the purples, yeah. But again, you don't have any purples that are coming up, nothing is priority. But sometimes you might have a 4 in there, but again, it's not priority, right? So we can see that, and then when you click on it, then you can always scroll down here, and it'll give you like what it relates to in terms of body part. It can give you an affirmation as well, and it can also explain to you what it means. So it's very, very helpful and user-friendly. These sections don't have anything extra here, but this means emotional stress release. So usually that's like the section where I go, okay, you're stressed, but you know, you've communicated that to me. So the beauty about this is you don't even have to tell me your problems or fill out a form, for example, because the scan will tell me. And love has come up. So like I say, maybe digest that a little bit more, think about where that might happen, or maybe you might have experienced some wonderful news, or you know, something like that. In terms of emotions, so usually, like I say to people, it's always often purple, 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 purple. So we can divide it between positive and negative. So if I scroll quickly, so you don't have like any purples in the negative, which is great, especially on camera.
That's so
Like,
true.
Excuse
Imagine
me,
if like
I'm not an angry person.
extreme rage just came up.
Yeah, it does happen. And some people are like, I swear that's not me. I'm like, I don't know.
I'd be surprised if like anger or something came up for me. More like sadness or like...
Yeah, of course. Bless you. No. If we go to the positive side, so like I said, there's an imbalance, not necessarily a bad thing, with love, gratitude, and feeling empowered, right? So again, like I said, the dynamic is very deep because we're working with energy. Is it you? You're doing to someone doing onto you, someone around you, so that kind of thing. So I don't normally go into too much detail unless there's something very specific of why someone's come, but these are very, I would say, positive, empowering emotions. So, you know, I don't know if there's anything you want to elaborate on that, or maybe why these themes are coming up.
Seem empowered is the only one I'm not like less sure of, but like gratitude, I'm always like saying in my head like what to be grateful for most days. Like it's like a little mantra of like just reminding myself, especially when I see the news and stuff. But yeah, love also just I like love all my friends and families.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Empowered. So feeling like, you know, are you feeling empowered? Do you feel empowered to do things?
Right.
Or, you know, maybe, you know, could be in a situation where you are experiencing or be observing, you know, someone not having the empowerment, and you're like, oh, I really want you to feel empowered. Or you want to, maybe like in a relationship, even, you know, the dynamic, who's the more empowered one, or you want to be better. It's, like I say, it's a very complex psychological depth. Sometimes it's blatantly obvious, like I say, you can be like, just
like the other
engage.
ones I can think of a bit more, but yeah.
But like I say, this is just food for thought to digest.
Yeah, something to think about.
In terms of brain performance, okay, so nothing really coming up here, so that's okay, good,
great.
All good. Going to the immunity section, so out of all of them, like I say, nerves has come up. So this will be dealing with your central nervous system. So I think this is going to probably most likely relate to the anxiety and stress of a lot going on. Then basically your brain is your communicator, then it'll communicate to the body, and then if things are confused, out of whack thing, you know, you maybe not sleeping enough or properly, or not going to the bed at the right time, there's too much work on, and which did come up, sensory overload, just communication pathways are just all over the place. And then it's like, what do we tell the body now? Like, I don't know, what is the time, what is the day, you know? And then that will communicate through your nerves. So the nerves will be out, and then that can have different knock-on effects. So what I like to do usually is, because I have someone who makes CBD tablets. So I say it's like the weed plant. So all of the medicine, none of the fun. That's the best way to sum it up. That is a very powerful tool that I've implemented in offering nutrition to clients, just to relax the nervous system, because different functions of your body will shut down and not work, which most common is the digestive system or digestion system. So the idea is it's going to put your body into a state of fight, flight, freeze, as if you're running away from the saber-toothed tiger. Your central nervous is activated, and then all of a sudden, like, you just can't do normal things. So rest and digest is off the chart, and you're just hyper alert.
Right.
So your body's like waiting for like the saber-tooth, but meanwhile you're just relaxing at home, but your body's like, I'm not relaxed. Right. Okay. So we need to find techniques. So probably a lot of the stuff you do anyway with what do you want to say, like with doing relaxation therapies, treating yourself, getting beauty treatments, that kind of thing, spending time with friends, going to the movies, eating lovely food, whatever's your meditation, you know.
Yeah.
So then, but just finding ways to relax it, because like I said before, if this is all hypervigilant, it's consuming a lot of energy,
right,
and then that will go like, oh, okay, I've got no more energy left, when your reserves run out, and then that, like, infection's like, yeah, let's get in.
That's when we get sick.
Yeah, and then the immune system goes, all right? Because if I look here, just to nitpick, you know, you've got, out of the 3 immune system variations here, 2 of them are orange. Okay. So it could be one of 2 things, that maybe your immune system was a little bit lower before and you got in better, so it could have gone from purples to oranges, or equally they could go from oranges to purple. So just being mindful, so thinking like, okay, what can you do to boost your immune system? But the other ones are like broad spectrum of viruses, colds, flu, infections, sinuses, but nothing's coming up, so nothing of major concern. And this is interesting, the glial cell is like the communication pathway in the brain that tells the body to heal. So that's showing slightly out of balance. So again, it's just, everything's confused. We just want to get the body just to focus.
Okay.
And yeah, if you want, again, nitpick, then it's just showing as a result of this, there's some slight autoimmune response, which basically means the cells are attacking themselves. Your body is attacking you. Okay. You're like, who is this guy? It's always been you. Like
the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, stars are just the flags, right? I'm just saying. So in terms of this, it's saying heavy metal exposure.
Okay.
So then that's quite a standard protocol. So probably what I'd say is just to clean out your small intestine, large intestine. I can put you on a protocol that will address that, as well as heavy metals, etc. So we can look at that. I'll do this on you in a little bit.
Okay.
And it's just 2 settings, so literally it will take 4 minutes. It's quite straightforward. Yeah, so like I said, this is the mind-body reset boot, but according to your recommendations, there was 2 of them, which was the Supercell and the Restore. So I'll do those as well for you, so just to do a bit of extra time.
Okay. So
quite straightforward. So this is quite an in-depth section, but
fascinating.
Yeah, so like I said, home, work and personal care products. So most people lack the awareness, you know, which is completely normal, but about what you're wearing, you know, how it's been made, how you're washing it, what are you brushing your teeth with, are you drinking tap water, are you cooking with certain aluminium or steel utensils, or like which I've just experienced in Switzerland, that you'll get cutlery that have they're stainless steel in nature, but then they've been spray painted to make a funky cool color, but when they go in the wash, then can create some exposure of poisoning, you know, of different chemicals. Or the most common one is pots and pans. So people will clean it with the steel wool, or we call it a scourer, and then they breaking off the Teflon.
Right, yeah.
And that's like basically exposure. So when you heat up, all the chemicals will start to radiate into your food. Or sorry, I should say leach into your food. And then you're basically consuming poison in a sense. And then people wonder why years later, like, I do everything by the books. I eat healthy, I do this. And they're like, how did I get cancer? And it's because it's all these micro exposures repetitively, and that's how it infiltrates. So it's just being mindful. So yeah, like in the water you'll have fluoride, like your pots and pans, you'll have like the Teflon.
What pots and pans don't have it?
You can get stainless steel. That's the most that's the best one. But it's harder to clean because you like don't want to scratch it at all. But there's lots of new technologies that are coming out, but just being mindful of that. So when I look at, actually in your case, it's exactly it.
I mean, I've got like a hella dodgy pan at home. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, the one I boil stuff in is stainless steel, but I got one for my birthday. That's like a kind of cheap one, and it's already got some of the coating coming off, and I'm like, I need to replace this. And
you're like, oh my god.
I keep not buying a new one because they're quite expensive, so I keep putting it on.
Yes, I mean pots and pans are, but the goal is if you buy the right one, you buy it once. Or you go to a charity shop.
Yeah, that's true.
You go to many charity shops.
Till you find one.
Yeah. So in your case, there is fluoride exposure and Teflon. So like I say, nice and simple.
Which one's fluoride again? Is that water?
Yes. So you can get that from water and very commonly from toothpaste as well. So I didn't mention that. So toothpaste, has so many different things in. So what I read from a case study or a research paper years ago is that manufacturing companies were just creating all this byproduct of excess fluoride, and they were like, we don't know where to stash this or get rid of this. So then some genius came up with the idea, like, we'll just put little bits in toothpaste to like slowly get rid of it. So that's what we expose ourselves. There's two arguments. People are like, oh, you need fluoride in your body, and then there's the others that are like, this is toxins, like it's poisonous for our body. And again, daily exposure, or hopefully if everyone's brushing their teeth every day, twice a day, getting this daily exposure. So there's lots of great toothpastes out there that have got like basically everything free. So I can show you a link.
I'd be really interested in that.
I'm just trying a new one since last week, and it's really, really nice.
Yeah, I have like zero attachment to any toothpaste I use anyway. So like I just buy whichever one's on offer. So like I don't really mind changing toothpaste.
Okay, good, yeah. But general rule of thumb, I'd say with this section is try eat organic as much as you can. Due to how exposed fruits and veg are, or meats, insecticides, fungicides, pesticides, I just try to say never eat the skin of anything. Wash it, try to get rid of the skin, and even like I'm just going with the cucumber for example, even get rid of even the next layer a little bit more. Just to try and help remove as much exposure as possible. With my philosophy, that's why I say it's better to avoid raw food in general. Like food in itself has naturally occurring toxins as their own mechanism to protect themselves from being eaten. Every food. So you need to now get rid of or cook through the pesticides, insecticides as much as possible to kill the toxins, and then also destroy the naturally occurring toxins as well. So it's like a double effect that you want to try and reduce as much as possible, that you can try process and digest it as much as you can. So it's a lot of otherwise, which is the most common outcome, is it's carcinogenic in nature, which means it can create cancer, in your body. And again, people are like, why? I eat vegetables every day. You're eating poison every day, so it's quite tricky. And then the other one that you're exposed to is Teflon, but like I said,
pans.
Pans. So just being mindful of that. Solvents. Again, solvents, this one specifically is one that's used in car fuels and in synthetic rubber. So same old story, like I said, try bioorganic, do everything natural as you can, and try eat, if you can, natural, GMO-free, preservative-free, which is a very hard ask, right? Heavy metals, so arsenic, I mean, what I can say for sure is that is in apples.
Okay.
And it will have a knock-on effect So yeah, the
I did have
different
an
ones.
apple for lunch.
How did you know? Yeah, but other exposures will be rice products, Brussels sprouts, beer, wine, apple, pear juices, water, depending where it's sourced.
Like rice every day.
Oh yeah, Japanese on the inside. Yeah. But of course that will have different effects. That will affect your skin, your nervous system, which might be in your case. Respiratory issues, cardiovascular, liver, basically whole body, endocrine, developmental processes. Right, in terms of pesticide exposure, that's pretty good actually. So that's not bad. That's not very common, I see. So, or maybe it is there, but not priority, right?
Yeah.
There's other things. Food, like I said, there's no purple, so not really to worry. Mold exposure is okay. I just point like this one out, my exception to the rule. Okay, there's no purples, there's one orange, but you have multiple within the category, if not almost everyone. So it's just okay being mindful about mold exposure. But one of within the protocol that I would probably say, if you don't choose to do colonic, but in addition to doing it, would address mold exposure anyway. EMF, so we brought that up.
Yeah.
So just as an overall exposure, so I've given you some tips, but you can get exposure again if you're microwaving your food, infrared exposure, computers, phones, which doesn't seem to be the one, yeah, but interesting. Or radio exposure, so listening, auditory, and like I say, blue light, so that's just the light, the reflection, right, so there's Blu-ray glasses or blue light glasses, or you can get the yellow ones, or you can get protective covers.
Yeah.
Like the one that I've shown you earlier, that's normally on mine.
Yeah, I was trying to look up recently. I wanted to get blue light filters on my glasses because if I'm watching television in the evening, to have that on there. But then I also want my prescription with it.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to see if they had it at Specsavers, but I couldn't find it.
Probably not.
It's really annoying.
Yeah,
It's like I still want to be able to see.
Oh, bless you, bless you. What else? Okay, so if we go now to nearly the end, we're just looking quickly at nutrition. So vitamins, so if I scroll down, there's not a lot of imbalances. Vitamin D is very common.
I always have vitamin D deficiency.
So you should come for the injection. Yeah, so one jab, I do a mega dose with people, which is 2 jabs, is basically can last you up to 6 months. Very important for digestive issues, for hair falling out, for moods, for weight, for fatigue issues. So it's and very powerful for correcting digestion as well. So I swear by the vitamin D. So quite straightforward. And then just a couple of B vitamins. So again, probably say a B complex. B7 is a biotin, so that might deal with hair loss, hair, skin and nails if that's not strong.
Okay.
And then this one is about hormones, if I'm correct. Yeah, how you're processing in your liver. Yeah, to manage fats. Okay. So just saying, how do you digest fats? Okay, or
fats I'm okay with. It's sugars I'm really bad with.
Okay. We'll see if that pops up. Like I say, mineral fields. So I can never say this one, molybdenum. That one is basically you would get in a multivitamin. Really hard to get these individually. So again, you can source them for food. If you click on all the different ones, which are imbalanced, then you can also see that it gives you options of how you can rather source it from foods than just specifically vitamins or supplements, I should say. So yeah, again, pretty good. Omega-3s coming up, so we're thinking about incorporating more foods like flax seeds, ground flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, black walnuts, soybean, hemp, kale, spinach. But I'm sure these are kind of the things you probably eat.
Yeah, I have quite a lot of flax seeds and chia seeds.
Okay, so maybe it's too much then.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, the other way around.
Yeah. Amino acids, that's pretty good. Glycine is to help with collagen, detox, digestion. So again, I would think, okay, how is it working in your system? But now your small intestine, large intestines come up. I think digestion is one of your themes as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is an amino acid. It's like the basic foundational principle. When you, it's the starting block for anything to develop in the body. So you need these as like the baseline to grow nurture, heal, that kind of thing. So how would you get that? Again, this, you can either get a amino acid supplement or again eating certain foods. So they don't say specifically here, so we'd have to get that from the internet or me. Yeah. Antioxidants seem to be good, so it's not, yeah, it is quite good. Metabolism, so overall it says your basic metabolic rate is slightly imbalanced, but in your case might be too much.
It's too fast rather than too slow.
Yeah. So from your constitution type, we call you like the fire-like digestion, which just you put food in and it's gone in like 5 seconds. So you can eat as much as you want, but you don't seem to gain the weight, right? Which is probably every woman's dream, but does have its other knock-on effects of, you know, needing, you know, maybe not getting enough nutrition,
Yeah, I do think that's a theme that keeps coming up in appointments, is that I might not be getting the nutrients from the food I am eating. So,
that's why I think IV drips or injections would be good, because it's like it totally, because the idea is you can consume a tablet and maybe if you're lucky you might get 10 to 20% of it, but if you have a bad system maybe you get less, who knows, you know, I can't really directly quantify. But when you do an injection or a drip, 100% bypasses the digestion system, so you have nothing to do but absorb it. And just saying it's slightly imbalanced with your pH levels, so maybe like there's this argument that we need to be at our perfect pH level. If we go too much, then we'll go into an acidic state, which is the breeding ground for disease. But what we want is to try to get into an alkalinity or alkaline state, which is then your body is just in a really good state of health. So
is that just having more alkaline foods and stuff?
Alkaline foods. There's even some very special technology that you can get that can affect or ionize the water to change the pH levels. And you can just see like the quality of it's much different and your absorption of it is much different. But generally speaking, and the rule of thumb is alkaline foods, what do you need to try and avoid? Acidic foods, which would be like mainly your sugars, heavy meats, that kind of thing. Everything that you like, you probably should not have it.
Everything sounds acidic that I like, yeah.
Malabsorption, so these are just special codes, so that's just saying about your small intestine, you're not absorbing properly, so that's fine. Oxygenation of your blood is good, so you don't need any major key vitamins to support. And then going into your food sensitivities, so...
that came up in kinesiology.
Yeah, bye-bye wheat.
Always wheat. Sad life I live.
So legumes are fine, nuts are fine.
Love nuts. Yeah.
Citrus is fine. Aubergine, eggplant's coming up.
I don't even eat it, so...
Might be laced in something. And that's it, that's pretty good actually.
Oh, tapioca, that's so random. I guess it exists other than bubble tea. I always forget it's like a thing in its own right.
Yeah, so that's, like I said, just those two. So that's pretty good. Then coming near the end. So like I say, this is the psychology section.
Yeah.
So like I say, you can click on it, you can read about it, you can go through it. So the same with this one, what kind of changes you want to make.
Yeah.
Be the change, what kind of journey you want to go on. But again, there's a lot to read through.
Yeah.
Archetypes, who you identify as at the moment with your current energy. Like I say, you can read through that as well. As well as looking at the course. What I look at, like I said, for the suspense, is your belief systems or your affirmations to work on. And there is one, which is, I am the creator of my experiences. Right. So from kinesiology, the thymus gland over here, you can tap actually on the left side, you tap here, but you tap into your body affirmations, so your body will absorb it. So you can say, I am the creator of my experiences, or I'm the creator of my own experiences, and you can just tap it in and then it will tell the brain to absorb that information. So don't know what experiences you want to be the creator of, but it's a good statement. I like it. Emotions are just, like I said, a copy paste. So we want to look at the chakras. So the crown chakra is coming up, and then the heart, which kind of links in with the emotions from before. So you can argue maybe, like I say, you've got too much going on, which is a great thing. But overall, realistically speaking, the body needs to be in a sense of balance. So, you know, then you might look at, okay, I don't know what you've done recently, but maybe you want to do some more like Reiki or energy work and healing or grounding or sound healing or something, just to hone it all in.
I think the heart is the chakra I'm usually like, it's like comes up as like the strongest one as well. So it lines up with my recent Reiki session.
Okay, great. Oh, she's really good at it.
Yeah.
This is based on Carl Jung and psychology, so again, you can click on learn more about it.
So cool.
So it keeps you interested. And then the last one, there are no purples, but like I say, just as an example, if we click on security, that's going to deal with the theme of immune system, your immunity. So yeah. And that's your scan.
Wow.
And not so short, but
yeah, it's interesting how there's like an ongoing theme kind of throughout.
Yeah. So I mean, when I first started doing the scans, like it was very overwhelming to be a practitioner, because as much training they give you, it's still, you can't understand, because it's learning to pick up themes and patterns. So obviously over the years I've gone, okay, based on this I can see the theme, or based on this I can see this needs to be changed. So but there is fundamentally an overriding theme, which is what we've picked up with you, right? Which for me right now, I'd say, is more about your gut, your digestion, which you've come to the right place. It's like my specialty. But it's a very powerful scan. I think it gives a lot to digest, I think, in tying up the gut thing.
Pun intended.
Totally intended. You know, because I think for me it's mostly taking about a lot of lifestyle changes, because, you know, like things you can change in your, like for you specifically, change in your bedroom, add, be more mindful about your electronics, how to, you know, stop with the sensory distortion, maybe watching too much or listening to too much. And then even going into like a bit of nutritional, we can think about correcting that with either nutrition, supplements, drips, shots. Or even looking into like the energetic aspect, because you are open to it, you know, maybe to think about, okay, what maybe need to do some more healing, or some more grounding, or some more balancing work, that kind of thing. And so that's this part. So like I say, I always like to do a full-on consultation just to give you everything, and then when you come follow up, it's like 5-10 minutes, because then you kind of got the theme. And most people, I would say for sure, like maybe 85% of people actually do go home and they rarely get into this, and they're like, what does this mean? What did he say? In your case, you're lucky because you can record it, but I usually get people to record
with the recording.
get people to record their sessions, just because it is a lot of information.
Right.
And then then we just say, okay, you go home, you do your part, you do your homework, and then in about a month's time, as a general rule of thumb, come back and you go, okay, cool, what's changed? Because like energy, we're constantly shifting and changing, and we need to adapt to support when we're in that new shift. So great. So what we'll do now is literally, because fortunately you only have 2 things.
That's good.
And then I said I'll just give you a couple of minutes of these 2 as well. So we're basically about 10 more minutes, and you can just basically lay there. Yeah.
Thank
so when
you.
you're ready, you're welcome. So you don't have any metal implants or anything like that?
No,
I don't think you've any had. I mean, I know that, but I just double check. So literally all we just do is like that. And sometimes, because this one's the brain, I'd probably just put it more here. So depending on the sensitivity of an individual, because I can feel it now, but some people are just like, I don't know, but just trust. So you can relax and close your eyes, and then I'll just change it in a couple of minutes. Just always inviting to just find your grounding and center. Nice deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. And I always think it's a wonderful time at the end of the day, just reflecting on what has happened, where your energy is at. And how practice to bring your energy back into your body, or your spirit back into your body, to reharmonize and reconnect. Always, because we are our own powerful healers for ourselves and for others, just inviting yourself with questions of how you can help you settle back into your body. Do you need to give yourself a hug? Maybe a nourishing meal, a nice warm bath, putting on those lovely jammies or pajamas. What do you need to relax you? And just relax your nervous system. And sometimes even just giving yourself the permission is enough. And as you feel more relaxed, start bringing that awareness to your breath. And feeling how the breath moves in your body. As we breathe in, we want to feel our stomach expand. And with visualization, imagine you're breathing in beautiful white light. And that white light is just penetrating through every part of your body, just bringing healing. And because that light is so pervasive, we just breathe out all negative energies or low vibrational frequencies. Imagining we become like this diamond. Illuminating from every edge. And with the power of that visualization, just feeling that light expand, expand, expand. That it's almost creating this boundary of protection, cocooning you inside. Creating that awareness that nothing from the outside world can penetrate. And with that knowledge and awareness, and most importantly, this feeling of protection, of feeling safe, embodying that, keeping that inside you, that in your day-to-day, you always know where you can just tap into in case you need some protection, you need some source of nourishment or nurture. Then inviting you back to the awareness of your breath. Then inviting you awareness into your body as you're here in this room. Feeling your sit bones on the table or bed. As we slowly start to wind down from this short meditation. It's inviting last few breaths, as profound as you want them to be. And in the time when you're ready, you can think about wriggling your toes, movement in your fingers. And if you feel need to stretch, you can. And then when you're ready, you can slightly open your eyes. Slightly, slowly, because the light is bright. And just feeling yourself back in the room. Okay?
Yeah, so sleepy.
Different if the lights are a bit dimmer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so relaxing.
Amazing.
Usually it takes me longer to like fall into the relaxing thing, but your voice always does it like straight away.
Thank you. Hypnotic.
Yeah, honestly it is.